My name's Shannon Myers. I was born in Hanover, Pennsylvania. I went to a Christian school for 12 years. I knew everything about church, but I did not know Jesus Christ. So at home I'd be getting cursed at, beat around, and then at church hearing about this love of God. At 16, I just left home, got an apartment with an older friend, and I just started partying, thought that was the good life, the fun life. About 19, I got introduced to crack cocaine, and that was a game changer in my life. Really just took me down a bad path. I spent about 16 years in and out of prison, in and out of state prisons, county jails, you name it. I was just really messed up. In 2006, it was June of 2006 in York County Prison. I remember I was on South Block and I heard a message about hell, and it scared me to death. And I did realize at that point that I was not born again. And in that prison cell, I knelt down and asked Jesus Christ to come into my heart, come into my life, and to change me. And a change happened in my life at that time. Many things I knew God was at work. However, I just still had a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger, and I didn't understand the concept of surrender, of submission to God. In 2018, things started to unravel in my life once again, relapsing very hard. I found myself living in my car. I've never been there in my life, never, even in my years of living in addiction. Back in the late 90s, I was never at the place where I was homeless, living in my car, but I still wasn't willing to surrender. And as crazy as that sounds, I wouldn't submit. Strung out on crack cocaine, running from my wife, sold a 12-pack of beer, and I wound up going to York County Prison, the same prison that I went to for 4 years preaching every Sunday. I had to walk back into that county jail in an orange jumpsuit. And it was probably the lowest point I've ever been in my life, as inmates and guards alike were looking at me like, what is your problem? And God began to show me, because I was really struggling, like, Lord, how could I be serving you for all these years? How could I be in the ministry? And once again, I'm still in this mess, going through this same cycle again. I was in there about 2 weeks, and they called me down to the probation office, and I wasn't on probation, so I didn't understand why they were calling me down. And a lady said that they were going to let me out on supervised bail, but would I want to go to a rehab first? And I said, yes, I would. And she said, have you ever heard of Teen Challenge? And I knew at that point that this was just more than me going to get help. And I was in the 30-day program, and I was doing my devotions one morning, and God led me to a chapter that's really got me through this whole year so far. It was 2 Kings chapter 5, and it was about a man named Naaman. It says that Naaman was a mighty man of God, a man of valor, but he was a leper. And God said, Shannon, you are a mighty man of valor. As the men at Teen Challenge, we are mighty men of valor, but we're lepers. We're heroin addicts, we're crack addicts. So God has a plan for our life, but we got to get rid of this disease. We got to get rid of this leprosy, this crack addiction, which was so much deeper than just drugs and alcohol. But Elisha told him to go dip in the Jordan River 7 times. And that verse is what really got me up in 30 day. That dirty, filthy river is where this man Naaman, this mighty man of valor, had to just go and dip in that river 7 times. And so I told God, I'm not going to do anything more than the 30-day program. And he said, yes, you're going to dip. You're going to go down further. And so I came down to the long term. And after I graduated, I'm going home with my wife. And God said, no, you're going to keep dipping. And so I'm staying for the intern. And I don't know where this road's going to lead. So I'm going to walk by faith and not by sight. And I'm just going to keep dipping because I believe that complete freedom is going to come in this process of humbling myself before God.